Hello everyone, this is Smith with YogaUOnline, and I'm very honored to be here today with internationally renowned yoga teacher Anna Forrest, founder of Forrest Yoga. Anna, welcome. We're so honored to have you with us today.
Thank you, Eva. I'm happy to be able to talk to you, and it's one of these miracles of the modern day that I can be in Australia and you can be in the U.S. Midwest, and we're still talking in the same time. I think time is a really interesting phenomena that we don't understand.
Over the last 40 years, you've always been a pioneer in your teaching of yoga, and I wonder just what it must have been like for you to see the changes in yoga over time. It must have been quite a ride for you to see how it began and what it has evolved to over the years.
Well, when I came into yoga, I wasn't in exactly a whole place. You know, being an alcoholic and smoking 3 packs a day and being suicidal, I wasn't really in a position to be assessing this new system that I was exploring with all of my cynicism and conditioning. You know, but then after I was in it for a number of years and began to realize that there were some things in yoga that were missing. Like it's many of the things that I've developed in Forrest Yoga is these healing practices that you spoke about in the introduction. But I also first started developing the physical healing practices. So assessing where yoga was weak. Yoga was very weak addressing the abdominals. So I developed a whole series of core poses. But when I talk about core, I'm not only talking about abdominals, I'm talking about chest, I'm talking about upper back, mid back, and lower back. That's all part of core to me. And so learning how to develop poses that get each of those turned on and functioning, so when we sit and stand and walk and do whatever, the right muscles are firing, because most of us live sitting, and so we end up in compressing and turning off a certain number of muscles, and then we go into pain, and we live in pain and we think that's just the price of being alive. So some of what I've seen over the course of more than 4 decades in the yoga field is my influence in it, so far as working with this deep breathing, working with consciousness, conscious attention, and learning how to feel in the body, working with abdominals. It's really fun when people come to me and say, oh yeah, I was in Bali and I took a Forrest yoga class, and it's just like that delights my heart. So the work that I have pledged to put out in the world is actually reaching in the world. One of the other aspects that I'm very pleased about in the yoga world is some folks feel like yoga has gone, mainstream, and that's a bad thing. It's actually a great thing, because the people teaching yoga are humans, which means they are susceptible to the same silliness and jealousy and petty behavior as any other human. And so for us as yoga teachers to have competition helps us stay a little bit more on our mark and continue to present a product that's worth accepting by people. Because if someone doesn't like what one person is doing, they now have choices. And when I first went into yoga, there were very few choices. And it was also the yoga teacher and the guru, especially if the yoga teacher was from India, was God. And it's like, you know what? It's just another human that may or may not have a good gift. And so part of what I teach and what I'm hoping our people are learning is intelligence and discernment. So when you come into a yoga class, even if you know nothing, turn on your intelligence and discernment and find out, is this correct for you?
Right.
It may even be a good teacher, but if the class is too advanced, find out how do you get into a more beginning class, because we now have these choices, which is utterly fabulous. Right. We have our teachers overall are more educated. They know anatomy now. A lot of my teachers are also psychologists, so they know the interworkings of how the mind affects your moods and your body and all of that stuff. It's like our people are more educated in yoga. It's not just incense, low lights, and some kind of creepy, weird music. It's evolved past that, and that's what it was 40 years ago.
Yeah.